So guys, as you've probably seen, I've spent a lot of time trying to perfect my YouTube lighting setup here in my home office. I thought it might be helpful for some of you guys, maybe other YouTube creators, if I share my preferred simple and relatively cheap lighting setup so that we go from a shot that looks horrible and like this to a shot that looks like this. What is up creators? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know me, my name is Tom. I create videos here on YouTube about videography, content creation, photography, all that good stuff. If you go on to enjoy the video, I would thoroughly appreciate it if you drop the video a like. It literally takes as much time as hitting the on switch on a nice, beautiful, soft lighting source. So right now we are using horrible overhead lighting. These are just sort of standard home lights. This is a relatively sort of neutral color, but it is horrible when it is captured on film, and it is not flattering, as you can see on human faces. So the first thing I would recommend doing always when you are beginning to light a YouTube scene like this is to turn off all of your lights. Okay, so that's that done. I'm also going to turn off the computer screen that I have here in the background. Okay, so now we're on a completely neutral black palette, and what this means is that we can now introduce and select the preferred lights that we want only to light the scene. So the first light we're going to introduce is called a key light. Okay, so for a key light, I'm using a Godox SL60W. I actually have two of them because they are just a fantastic light, relatively affordable for the sort of thing that you're getting. Like, this is quite a comprehensive video light, and most importantly, it is dimmable, and that is absolutely, in my opinion, essential for a YouTube light. You know, this is around about $150, and if you can invest in one of these, then you are pretty much set up for pretty much any YouTube setup that you want to do. Pairing with this light, I'm actually using a newer softbox, and what this does is it just basically takes the light source that is quite a small source and then just amplifies it and softens it out. And as you can see, the light is a lot more neutral on my face versus being quite harsh. I'll show you the difference here before and after using the softbox on the light. So there we go, here is the softbox. This is the softbox that I'm using. This is again from a company called Neewer. I will link this down below in the description. And you can see that the enormous sort of shadow and shade being cast on my face here, and just by applying this softbox you can see the dramatic difference that it's going to make just taking that light source and softening it up. So a lot of YouTube tutorials will sort of take this sort of setup where I have a light over here on my right hand side or left hand side, and then they will get another light on this side to reduce some of the shadow on my face here. That is what you call a 2-point lighting setup to light a face. What you are doing is you are just creating a bit of a sort of contrast on the face, and there's just a nice shape of light on the human face. The only thing with this setup is that personally, in my opinion, I think this is just overkill for the vast majority of YouTube videos, especially when you're just starting out. I'm sure you just want to start with one light by one light and just hit record. So what I'm actually going to be showing you is what's called a beauty lighting setup. And what this means is that we're going to take this light and we're going to evenly light the face with it. However, there is a couple of essential pointers you need to know with the beauty lighting setup. First of all is that you will need a stand that is high enough to take the light and sort of shine it down and angle it down on your face. Luckily, the key light that I'm using has an angling sort of tool built in, so I can move the light directly above the camera and angle it down onto my face and create a much more even lighting situation on my face here. So now we've moved the light directly over the camera, you can see that my face is much more evenly lit. It's also giving me a nice chin shadow underneath here, creating depth in the face. As a rule as well, you want your light to be as close to your subject as possible, as what this will actually do is increase the softness of the light, even though it will also increase the intensity of the light. So that is why having a dimmable light is essential. You can move the light closer to your subject and dim that light right down. That is now looking like a really nice shot. However, there's a glaring issue, and that for me is white balance. I'm looking nice and pasty here, nice and pale. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the white balance color on my camera. This light shoots at what's called a daylight white balance. This means that it shoots roughly at 5,600 Kelvin. And what that just means is it's set to daylight. So most cameras now, you'll be able to adjust your camera settings to adjust for daylight. So I'm going to do that now. There we go, that's that change made. You can see that my skin tone now is a lot nicer, a lot closer to what it actually looks like in real life, and just overall the colors in the scene will be a lot better now. So the scene now is looking already quite nice in my opinion, and this is a significant step up already over the setup that we had right at the beginning of the video. However, if we really want to elevate this to the next level, what we can do is we can introduce a couple more lights just to finish off the scene. The first couple of lights we're going to introduce are called practical lights, and what this means is that they are lights that actually show up in the frame of your video. And that for me are the computer screen that I have in the background. We won't be getting a ton of light out of this, but it will dramatically change the look of the shot because the light is so big. Instead of having this big sort of dark square in the background here, we will have a light source on and an actual thing of visual interest in the scene. Okay, so now we're now going to turn on is a sort of practical filament lamp that I have in the background here. If you want more information on this light, it's available in my desk setup tour video. But what this one light is going to do is warm up the background and create a bit of color contrast, as well as just overall lighting the background scene here. And then finally, if we want to go one stretch further, we can use something like this. This is an RGB wand light. It's from a company called Yongnuo. Again, I will have it linked down below in the description. But because this is RGB, we can really change it to any color that we want. The nice thing about that is that what we can do is choose this color here, this sort of orange, and on a color wheel, decide what color is going to look best working with that orange. And that will be a sort of teal, orange, blue, a bit like we've got in the background of the screen here. So we're going to set this wand to that color and then shine this on the other half of the background. That's going to really make the background pop without affecting my skin color and skin tones. And because this light can be controlled via an app, we can immediately see the difference by turning that on, turning it off. That's the original shot there, turning it on. And I'm deciding that I think we just have a really low intensity on that sort of orange and teal, and that balances nicely with the sort of teal background of the laptop here. I hope you have enjoyed this video and or found it helpful. If you did find it useful, please drop a like I said at the beginning of the video. It makes a massive difference to the channel. Let me know if you have any thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys next time.